Yeah, so we got our 2004 Godzilla reissue right here.
Oh, I'm very excited. Let's go.
There are some minor differences with the box. I'll let you guys take a good look at that right there.
And get familiar with it. Hey. Look at that eye. My goodness.
They did not change the date when this originally released on the box. So if you were trying to figure out later, how do I know which figure is which, if it's the original or if it's the reissue, on the bottom of it, it says right here, reissue.
Oh.
So that's one way you can tell from the exterior side of the box right there. There is usually another way that you can tell by looking at the figure itself. Underneath it, there is kind of like copyright dots. There's usually 3, signifying that it's a reissue, or 2 if it's a second reissue, 1 if it's a third reissue. So, but let's get into it. Let's take a look at it, all right? So let's get this open here. We're going to take out, oh, look at that. So we're just going to look at one for now, really quick. So here it is in its clamshell form. Look at that. Not taped down or anything. Very easy to get into. It's got a little blister in the front to hold it together. I don't think this was on the original. There is a blister protecting the fins on the back side of it, so that's cool. I don't remember that in the original. It might have been. It's been on since 2022. Everything seems to be intact. There it is.
Bro's eyes. Oh.
That looks pretty good.
It looks really good.
Yeah. So we're going to get closer looks at this figure in a second. We just wanted to see what it looked like out of the box. There's some dorsal warpage from the heat being in the packaging. If you ever get these things and you see some bent dorsal spines, just take your hairdryer and that'll straighten it all out right there. Let's unbox all 4 of these guys. We got 3. There we go. So let's get to them. Let's unbox all these guys. Let's look at our variants. Here we go. Let's just get them all there. Look at that. I feel like I have a bunch of pet lizards right now, and I'm just lining them up for the camera. The biggest thing I already can tell you guys that's the biggest difference from the original and this one right here is that the paint job is completely different. And it's more in line with the promo. Definitely more in line with the promo, which was more of a blue color. Which, honestly, when I first saw that promo the first time, I was like, I don't really like a blue Godzilla, but it works.
I just love those eyes, man. They just leap right out at you.
Even the paint on the toes look good, too. So here is the original compared to the reissue. And right off the bat, very big difference there in the paint.
Wow.
The question is if you're going to get the reissue and you have the original, does it make the original obsolete? I think it just depends on your tastes, what you like in representation of Godzilla. Do you like the more traditional charcoal gray, or do you like this new blue color?
The eyes are killing me, bro. They're so nice and bright.
And here's a big difference with the eyes, is that the original right here, its eye pupils are very large, and it's got a lot of black wash around the eye socket area, so it makes the orange paint a lot smaller in coverage, right? Now, the reissue right here, the pupil is a lot smaller, and the black wash that they have, which it's not really a wash, it's a dot matrix paint job still, but it's significantly dialed into the socket, so there's just more orange, and the orange is just a flat orange. It's a very bright orange. But I think this is highly effective in what they were trying to convey in the first place, was that original orange glow effect without having to have actual translucent eyes.
Yeah, they killed it this time, I think.
And there's still you know, now that I'm looking at both of them, there's very little weathering details on the original right here. But on the new one, there's a lot of different weathering patterns, especially in the abdomen, the chest area, even right here. Let's look at the side view of these guys right here. Let me just kind of fix this. This one stands taller than the original. And I don't really have it, from what I can tell, this looks like the torso is sitting higher on this figure than this figure. Because this one, there's no gap right here, but this one, there's a gap on the back side of it, like this. I don't know if you guys can see that.
Oh, yeah.
But I can see that there's definitely a difference in the height. So there's something going on here at the waist area. Let's look at the inside, because I had suspected that something was different because it sits higher. So let's look at the internal. So for some reason, this figure sits a little bit higher at the torso, and I'm going to compare it with the original in just a second. So this is the internal side of it. Here's the original. Oh my. So this back piece right here is not sitting, it's not even glued in. It's just there. It's just off. It's supposed to be sitting right here where that gap is, but it's not on the original. And on the new one, it's flush. It's sitting flush with it. And because of that, this part is higher up. Like, look how much lower this one is compared to that one.
Interesting.
So that's why this one's sitting taller. Okay, so that makes a lot of sense then. That's the original right there. It looks good. It doesn't look bad. It just sits nicely. But for this guy right here, like, it's definitely sitting higher on the torso area. So, yep, it's right there. See that?
Mm-hmm.
And on this one, it's just deeper into the sculpt. It sits deeper into it, so you don't have to worry about that gap right there. But because of that, it sits higher. And you can push it down. It goes in. It just doesn't go down that far. Check out the dorsal paint. This one's got more of a blue. The OG's got more of a blue color. And then the original, the reissue has more of a bone coloration to it. I actually prefer this a lot more than this over here.
Yeah, I'd have to agree.
The reissue looks a lot closer to the promo. Significantly closer. I mean, it's just night and day with that color scheme right there, right?
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Wow.
The one thing I do see that is kind of consistent from the original is the lack of paint on the dorsals on the tail. On camera, it doesn't look so bad, but in person, I'm just like, you can see the fall off right there, right? And it's both on the original and the new one.
Yeah, it starts in the same place. Huh.
And I'm looking at the promo. The promo, it's fully painted down there. So something happened. If anybody's wondering where these were manufactured, these were manufactured in Vietnam, not China. And we've known that the Vietnam factory has had its issues. It's not perfect by any means. Let's get a little bit closer.
I love those friggin' eyes.
The mouth paint is pretty consistent between both of them. So that doesn't look like it's changed. So this tells me that it's more of a conscious change to make this more blue than the original right there. But I was talking about the eye paint, the eye shadow around the edges is just a lot thicker on this version. Like, even if we were to look at the same side, right? The pupil's just a lot smaller. But you know what? Some people might like this a lot better on the original. But this is the original dorsal right there.
It does have a bluish hue, doesn't it?
It is it's a bluish white and gray. And then with the new one, it's more of a bonish, grayish, bluish. Actually, it's gray. It's actually a gray color. So here is the claws of the original. They've got some nice blending on there. They're actually one of the better Godzilla hands that are out there.
Helps that his claws are so huge.
And then when we compare it to the new one, it doesn't seem to have much of a change. It might be might have a little bit more that brown color that's on the claw. I think the original looks a little bit darker in some spots, but it's just, I think it's what I want to say. It's sharper in the new one. And since we have the chest over here, there's really not much of a wash going on. Or anything. No shading in the original. It's mostly one color. But when we look at the new one here, you've got some black shading right there. Some weathering effect right there.
Yeah.
Here's the claws on the feet of the original. It's not an airbrush blend effect, it's definitely dry brushing that's going on with this original piece.
Coffee stains.
I mean, it's not too different.
Hmm.
It's mostly this, it's very similar. Maybe a bit on the lighter side. Yeah, so it's definitely more coffee colored on the original. And then let's do the tail comparison of this right here. So here's the original. So like I said, you can see the fall off. It happens right here. It happens in the same spot on the new one as well.
Hmm.
And then here is the reissue.
That is interesting, especially since it's solicited like fully painted. Here it's like a dusting.
Yeah, I mean, even here on the back side of it, it's not even painted all the way to the tip. It's the same way.
Okay.
And here is the reissue.
They both got them frosted flakes.
This is the original. Are you digging the original more? Do you like them both?
I really, really love the reissue, dude. The eyes, the weathering on the body. Now that I know it's there, the dorsal fins being so white, but no, seriously, it's the eyes. The eyes just they scratch that mental itch. I don't know why, but they do. I don't know, just like the lighter coloring of it all too. It's just it's like that would stand out, you know?
Yeah, for me personally, I do like the original coloration still. So I don't think I'm gonna get rid of it or anything like that. As far as definitive goes, I'm still kind of going back and forth right now in my head. So let's see how it goes after the comparison. Let's get into the actual variance comparison of all four. So here's our first one, straight on. I know everybody likes a straight on look. And then here's our figure number 2. Our third one here. The fourth one isn't too bad. So I think the first and the third one have really good eyes. They're mostly straight on. There's your side view. We're back to figure number 3.
Oh yeah. Intense.
I mean, I like it. I really do.
I do too. They're so shiny and bright.
Here's number 2. The teeth are okay. The OG of this figure didn't have the greatest paint on the teeth, and this one, it's a little bit better, but it's not fully painted. It's definitely dry brushed. Get that side view of number 1.
Jeez.
I think the pupil being smaller is definitely very effective.
Yeah, for sure.
So here's number 1's dorsals. It's like on the edges, somebody mentioned to me that it looked a little like rub off, and it doesn't look like rub off to me. It looks like it's an intentional dry brush effect. Let's look at the back side of it.
Yeah, if something like that is present on all of them and on the sides and everything, I would take that more as a stylistic thing than anything else.
I think if you didn't have the original to compare it with, it looks fine. So that's figure number 1. Let's look at number 2. Number 2 definitely has less of that dry brush line on the ridges right there. It's still there though, especially towards the bottom. Look at the backside. I really like the color of these dorsals this time around. These look fantastic. This guy's back's all twisty. There we go. Let's look at this side. bad. Here's number 3. This is just your typical variance that you get. Like, there was a direction that these guys were given, because it's not painted by one person. It's painted by many people. So you're going to get some variance with that dry brush effect right there. But it seems consistent where you have this line that goes on the side like that. It seems pretty consistent. Because that is not on the original. The original doesn't have those lines like that. I mean, at least on the original that I have. I like this one. The number 3's dorsals are looking pretty good, actually.
Very, very white.
And then let's look at number 4.
Did the suit have these lines, or is this just Tamashi having fun?
I don't think it had those lines in there. I don't think these lines were present.
Scoliosis and pigeon-toed. That's why he was so pissed in the movie. Pigeon-toed.
Okay, so let's look at the chest now. So you got your weathering right there. Not so bad. Looks good. You can see it right here, especially in the abdomen area. Chest part. Even on the parts of the legs. On the side. Let's look at number 2. I think that's stronger on number 2. The weathering details on number 2, especially right here at the thigh area.
Mm.
We look at them both. I mean, it's there. Maybe they're both the same. Let's look at number 3.
Definitely looks a little bit more intense in the abdominal for number 3. I think. Maybe.
Here's number 2. I think 2 is actually more intense still.
Hmm.
And then here's number 4. I mean, it's pretty consistent, honestly. It really is.
Yeah. I mean, he certainly doesn't look like a Dalmatian, so that's great.
We're going to look at the claws of the hands. So here's number 1. And we got number 2. A little lighter on this hand right here.
Mm. Oh, yeah.
Here's our number 3. And then here's number 4. Let's look at the legs. It's a little bit lighter on number 2. Just a little bit. It was a little bit darker on number 1. I'll bring them both into frame so you can see. So 1 is definitely a little bit darker than number 2. And then we have number 3. 3 is good. Without airbrush blending, I think it looks good. And then here's number 4. Last comparison. So here's the tail. I wonder if there's weathering detail on the bottom of it. Let's take a look. No weathering detail, but it is very nicely textured.
Detail you can feel.
The top view of that tail. Yeah, it's just kind of a miss on the tail. Let's look at number 2. Let's look at the top layer of number 2. Yeah, there's just like a whole row that's not even painted. Both sides aren't even painted. It's just the middle section.
That is weird.
Here's number 3. Look at the top of it. And then here's the 4th one. I think the 4th one's tail actually has the most coverage for what coverage there is.
Hmm. It's such a random thing to happen.
I would say, based off what we have seen so far, that consistency seems very present within all 4 of these figures right here when it comes to sculpt and paint. Getting a close look at the head, there is no change in the eyebrow sculpt. So it's pretty much the same. It's all the eye placement. It's like a trick of the eye that's making it look good for once, but that's just kind of where we're at with that.
Yeah. I mean, getting them all together, the claws, the dorsals, and even just the weathering on the body. It's seems like each one pretty much follows the same route, so to say. And I'm going to remain consistent by saying my favorite part of this is just the friggin' eyes. Those things are awesome.
I think my favorite is the weathering that they've added to the main body. I think that adds significant more style to the figure.
Yeah, it's a good choice on their part. Make the figure brighter, but then add some weathering to it.
All right, let's get into articulation. So starting with the head. One of the things from the original 2004 Godzilla is I know that the head does not turn to look down. I don't think that has improved. It's probably going to fall off if you make it go down. Yep. That's as far as it's going to go. And that's because of its internal right here. The way it's designed, it's a double barbell system, and the neck is designed to look up really, really high. The issue with looking down with this figure is that this piece is going higher up, and then you have the ball joint right there, but then this part goes down. So when you're going in for articulation to look downward, they conflict, and because this joint isn't so long, you just can't make it look down more than just like that. That's basically it. That's as far as it's going to look down. The rest of your neck movement is going to come from the actual neck itself, not the head, because when we put this back together, when it comes to looking up, so it's just designed to look up more than it is to look down. And that's why it's sculpted this way. So downward movement, you're going to want to use the neck to do that. So when you do that, push this part in when you want it to look down. Push that part in. You're going to grab it by the back of the neck. Don't grab it from the head. Grab it from the back of the neck to look downward. And then there you go. Look at that. This guy's looking all the way down.
Oh, yeah. Damn. Pardon my French.
Yeah, it's all in the neck. It's all in the neck, not the head. So when you're moving that, just avoid having the head only look down. Use it from the neck. And there's your front view of that. Twisting, same thing. Actually, not even the same thing. Twisting's okay. You can twist it by the head. It's not going to fall off or anything like that. Probably will if you go 360. Let's try it. Oh, no, stays on.
Mm.
How about that? You know what? Just for fun, I'm going to show you guys just what it looks like. So that's how it sits.
Oh.
It sits like that.
Mm.
So when you have it look down, it's basically it hits the sculpt and stops, and you're forcing it to basically look further, and it just pops out of the joint. Whoa, look at that.
Holy moly.
Exorcist moment. Yeah, wow, that was very easy to do too, actually. As far as mouth articulation goes, you know, you've got, it is on a ball joint. It's not a hinge, so you can give him slack jaw mouth, you know, punched in the face by Monster X kind of thing, like, All right, let's try this. I don't think this is articulated. It's got a little bit of GIF right here, but I don't think it's... The tongue is definitely glued into the mouth. It does have a little bit of an opening right here on the bottom of it. You couldn't even get it like this unless you have tweezers like this to get it up. So I can appreciate that it's got a little bit of that extra depth right there. You know, not just baked into the sculpt like some of the past Godzilla figures. But there's the ball joint right there. If you ever wanted to customize the eyes, by the way, you can get something like a razor tool, heat this up, and you can take this out by putting your razor right there, and you can pull it out by heating it up. It's just glued in to the roof of the mouth. And you can take this off, and you can customize your eye paint. Okay, so going back to head articulation, you know, we got, you know, side to side. You can go pretty far, actually. Not too bad. So you got that, twisting it. You know, you can tilt it. You might see this gap right here. This piece is a floating piece, so just push it down. That's all you got to do. That's all you got to do. Just push it down. So let's try this. We're going to do a twist. Oh, yeah. Look at that.
Butter.
That's not bad at all. As far as the twisting goes, there's just a back view just so you can see that. So we've got twisting in the front. When you're twisting, there's clearance in the back right there. So you don't have to worry about dorsals hitting each other. It's actually the elbow that hits the dorsal. Just lift that up and yeah. Mega twist. Moving backwards, straight up. And then let's do that ab crunch. Not so much in the front. It actually popped off. You're not going to get too much because there's not much space right there. Most of that ab crunch is going to come from this bottom part right there. So aiming that downward. That's pretty much it. It's not going to go any more than that. I'll angle that neck downward so we can get the idea how far it can look down. So, but yeah, that's as far as that ab crunch is going to go.
It's not bad.
So let's go over arm articulation. Arm articulation with this guy. So the sockets are kind of like, they've got like a floating effect. So you can move them around. You can push it in so that it goes into the socket. So you can get more of that straight arm. So it's very flexible there. You know, nothing's falling off with this movement. Go a little bit harder at the elbow. So this figure, by the way, is made of a softer plastic compared to, like, say, the Heisei Godzilla. So it has some flex to it when you're moving things around. You got your biceps swivels right there. It's not too great in movement. It's very minimal. You could probably get in there and twist that. The joint is a little tight on that, so I need to loosen that up. Elbow articulation. I mean, it's designed to be very fluid. I mean, that's like, look at that, bending it all the way back.
Jeez.
That's crazy. You couldn't do this with any other of the Godzilla figures. This is just a Final Wars Godzilla exclusive kind of engineering. You can even see that on the back side of its gap right there. Like when you close that, when you open it up all the way up, it looks good. So there's definitely some wiggle room. So yeah, that's good there. Oh, I love the wrist movement too. Look at that.
He giving you the deep wave.
And you know, you've got it goes up. Yeah, I mean that's great. I love that. Let's look at leg articulation. Look at that. We've got, oh wow. Almost can do the splits. Actually, you know what? It probably can do it if you just get it just angled just right. Close enough, right?
Yeah. Wow.
As far as the legs being able to move, it's kind of stopped by the sculpt right here. So you're not going to get too much going this direction, moving it forward. As far as kicking goes, though, if you wanted him to kick up, yeah, it's just, you can really force it to get up higher to do a high kick.
Wow.
You could probably get a little bit more. If you move this socket a little bit more around, you could probably get that in there. As far as the in and outward movement, though, that's like, ah! So just note, when you go too far out, that pinches the joint and the sculpt right here. So that's why it's falling off, is because it's too far. So yeah, it can kick out really far. The knees bend quite well. You've got some nice movement right there. Oop, popped it off. Same thing with this guy. Nice movement. The ankles, there's some nice tilt at the ankles right there. Not so much downward movement. So yeah, it's not so much on the downward movement side, but you can definitely, yeah, not even so much on the upward side. So you got a lot of tilt range though. As far as the tail goes, now the tail is really a softer material. It's not like a Heisei tail where it's going to hold a pose. Look at that. It just, yeah, it's a softer tail material. Now, if you posed it just right, you just have to kind of figure out the range. So, you know, it can pose sitting up like that, you know? We can get it like that. And it's just going to take a little bit of creativity in knowing the limits of the tail. The tail is a very soft material though, so getting it to get that position that you really want is going to be kind of interesting. It's kind of like the Godzilla 2000 Millennium, the sockeye concept. It's kind of like that tail.
Mm. And that was a tail.
But you know, I have it kind of tilting forward right now, and it's mostly holding it. It's articulated in every single segment. It's just that the problem is that there's just not much of a gap between each of these segments right here. So if there's not a big gap, it's just limited because of the spikes on the top, the dorsals on top. Now going downwards is a different story. If you were to go downwards, you got a little bit more range because it's not being stopped by those spikes. Yeah, so as far as that goes, like he can pretty much going downwards. Definitely more range going downward versus upward. But you can make it go upwards. You just have to be very careful with moving it. Like it's so flexible. Like we're touching the top. It's just a matter of getting it to stay. I'd give the tail a B. It's okay. I just wish that there was more room in the segments to allow for different posing. But it can hold it for the most part, but you just have to kind of work at it. It's not just something that you can just pose one and done. I would say compared to the original, the range is pretty much the same. The limitations in the tail is pretty much the same. The arms definitely seem to be improved based off of this copy alone. They pop off a lot easier on my original one. The legs, they're better right here in the middle sections, but because of the higher part of the waist area right here, you just have to worry about the legs touching the top of this because it will pop it off if you push this inward. So if I go in too far, look at that. You can see it's already raising it.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's going to pop it off if you go too far. Oh, I love it. Look at that. That is sick. Yeah, so I would say the articulation is, like I said earlier, it's pretty on par with the first one. The joint tolerance in this one is a little bit better than the other one. So that's all of our variance comparison right there. They're all great. I would say that the articulation is, I'd say, slight improvement over the original. It's a slight improvement. So if you're hoping for a better tolerance, it's definitely stronger in some areas, but still kind of just as loose in the original in certain areas too. So if you get some Kiki Fix loose joints, definitely get that. Let's go into size comparisons and bring out other figures. So let's bring out Gigan 2004.
Wow. Holy God.
This is...
That's a... Wow. I kind of hate that I missed this.
This is the original 2004 Gigan. This is not the Great Decisive Battle version. This is the original. This is a really awesome figure. I think the scale is a lot better. I'm going to bring out the original just so you guys can see how much shorter it is. I mean, it's a small bit, but I think it's enough to make a big of a difference. So, but here's Monster X. Monster X is a good height. He's got his knees pretty bent right now. I think it's a pretty cool figure though, still. I talked to the designer who did the sculpt for it, and he was talking about just how excited he was to see it in the S.H.MonsterArts line, his sculpt of it. This was not Yuji Sakai, this was somebody else that did this guy. But Monster X was one of his favorite figures, so that's why he did it. He's actually the same sculptor who did the Hedorah figure. Here is the Great Decisive Battle version of Gigan.
Ooh.
So this is the newer release. I left the original with the spinning saws because the Great Decisive Battle version, the parts right here come off and you can use it for the grappling hook. So there's those two together. So this is the newer one, and then the one I had previously was the original release. So here is our Night Combat Shin Godzilla. I just really love how this shin is completely translucent, and it may not show up on camera as well right now, but anything that you're seeing red right there is being lit up by the lights around it. I think Kamada-kun looks okay. I think this one should have been more red. Here's our orthochromatic.
Oreo-chromatic. The double-stuffed god himself.
I just really appreciate the matte paint job on the ortho version. We have a request for Frozen as well. Godzilla 72. Here is Evolved Godzilla. Yuji Sakai concept. Let's take a look. Let's get out 91 Ghidorah. So there's your heavy arms Kiryu. Which Mecha King Ghidorah should we bring out? So there's our 1991 Shinjuku. All right, I'm bringing out Ultima here. There's our Godzilla Earth. For those who don't know, the version of Hedorah flight form that was released doesn't have any paint application on the top. It's just one color, which is accurate to the movie. When the flight form's first appearance takes place, it's not actually painted on top. The Heat Ray, -1. Good old Anguirus with 2004. So there's our 54 poster. So this is the Makuhari Decisive Battle version. Thanks everybody for joining us today on this live stream for unboxing 4 2004 Godzilla figures. It was an absolute pleasure to go through all that. Thank you, Shinrobjir, for joining us for commentary. Always a real one for being here and just sitting and just talking Monster Arts.
Of course. It's always a fun time. And if I'm free, I'm here.
So again, thank you everybody for joining us today. And we'll see you next time for the Mechagodzilla Final Battle Edition. That'll be the next one coming up in June. It's set to release June 24th. So we'll see you then. Catch you later.